They've been recently reunited and returned to one another on the bridge of the USS Titan. Bit by bit, we're seeing the cast come back together on this 10-part season of Star Trek Picard. Season 3, it's the dim and distant past, seasons 1 and 2. It's almost, I don't view this as season 3. Every time I say I can't quite compute. To me, this feels like something entirely different, but this is our continuing mission to work our way through it and to keep track with Trek as season 3 of Star Trek Picard works its way to its conclusion. Lots of iconography and new ships every single week on this show. There's always lots to feast your eyes on, as well as things that chime with us emotionally too. And this episode, the 6th episode, was no different. In fact, there was probably more in this than any other. I think episodes 5 and 6, because I think that these episodes, the component parts to this, they're acting as sort of clusters, Matt. The first couple were kind of setting the scene, sort of teasing us as to where some of these characters had been over the last 20 years and bringing some new pieces onto the board. Things moved along then with that kind of the couple of episodes which were largely like a submarine sort of story like we got with Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. But this middle section, which I think is made up of episodes 5 and 6, feels like the unashamed fan service. I think
it's more than that, to be
honest. No, I think that fan service gets a bad rap. I think that fan service.
Berries.
I think the fan service. I can't stand that expression.
No, I know.
It's so lazy.
But that's what I felt like with this one. I really do.
I don't know.
But it's all part of the. It's all part of the plot. Yeah. That's why I can't. It's all again, just like I said a moment ago. It's all a component of something much larger. So this is episode 6, called The Bounty. Now even though I hadn't figured out on the last episode, I hadn't worked out what was going to happen to Ro. I'm giving myself a pat on the back here, because when I saw the episode title for this, I did wonder. And I was right where this was going. But the premise to this one, the official synopsis here from StarTrek.com says, now on the run, Picard and the skeleton crew of the USS Titan. So there's not 500 crew members on board anymore. There's a skeleton crew of about 150, isn't there? There's a lot fewer people. It says that the skeleton crew of the USS Titan must break into Starfleet's most top secret facility to expose a plot that could destroy the Federation. Picard must turn to the only soul in the galaxy who can help. An old friend. Yet another old friend. This one's written by Christopher Monfetti, and directed again by Dan Liu. So for a couple of weeks we haven't had any of the cast of the Next Gen brought back on. I think Worf was the last person that got introduced. This one for me was all about LeVar Burton, all about this guy. I think you could safely say that he's a bit of a national treasure when it comes to America. What's that children's series that he does? It's kind of like Jack and Ori for little kids on American TV. Reading Rainbow or something.
Yeah, Reading Rainbows. Yeah, as an American thing, we never ever got it here. Thank God.
No, we never got it here either.
He was
doing it while he was doing Star Trek, wasn't he?
Roots was a big deal, wasn't it, Ian? So it was a mini series that was based on a book, wasn't it, in the late 70s, early 80s?
Huge. It was huge when it came out on TV in America. There were talks about it and all that, obviously because about the race thing. And he was the main star of Roots.
He was in a movie. He was in a big movie with where he played a mute murderer as well.
Was he?
I don't know if you've ever seen that.
No,
yeah. And he was very, very young in that one, but yeah, he's a very talented actor.
I did like this episode, but the only thing I didn't like about this episode is the way they portrayed Geordi.
Yeah, I agree.
Really?
100%.
Did not like it.
No,
this is going to be very interesting.
I was thinking to myself, he would never have stepped back and not helped his friend, which is Picard. This didn't make any sense to me. That's the only thing I didn't like about this episode at all. It was obviously they were playing it so that he would do an arc between the way he is now and then coming back to being Geordi at the ending. It was obvious that's what we were going to do, but I still thought they could have just they could have not done that and just made him Geordi and figure out a way of, you know what I mean? But anyway, that's just they
did figure out the way. Like I said, the arc is part of the. I mean, for me, it makes it sound like I'm being deliberately contrary. For me, this was the most interesting thing they've done with one of the returning cast members. I like,
but it doesn't make
doing.
any sense, man.
No, I think it makes. I think it makes perfect sense.
It makes perfect sense that he's a completely different character, and
I don't think he's a completely different character, but I think we've seen. Geordie was always a family man. Geordie was always a character who wanted to belong, and who wanted, a character I felt had a yearning to settle down and to have a family. He was very into his work, very into technology, and I can completely believe that he would settle into a kind of working retirement like this. He's got his daughters, particularly the second daughter that we meet in this episode.
How many kids
his daughter,
well,
only the two that we know of
That's
so
his
far.
real daughter.
The two that we know of so far.
Is it really?
For all we know, there could be more family members. There could be more family members, but when you say about the loyalty to his former colleagues and crew there, Ian, his allegiance to his commanding officer, of course that has a huge pull. But the one thing that has more than that is family, and Picard has turned up in the heat, fresh from a fight with one of his children, his child, in his care, and he brings that same fight to his door and to his other child. He also puts him in a situation, because obviously he's a Commodore now with a considerable amount of experience. For all I don't know how much Geordie is up on the situation when this starts, but the last thing he knows, Picard isn't even a serving officer anymore. So he's thinking from his position as the head of a family, as a father, and as somebody who's still a serving member of Starfleet and has his duties to perform. You can see that he's got even more into his work, and it's turned up the fastidiousness to LaForge, which I think we did see in the original show, but because he was a much, much younger man, it was a lot lesser. I think they portrayed. I think they brought all that up, Ian, whilst keep it, for me, absolutely the same.
Okay, right. With all that being said, there's a bit where Picard told him that Changelings has taken over the Federation, and it's come to breaking point, and we need your help. And that's when Geordie should have said, I did not know that. So the Federation is in trouble, which endangers his livelihood and his family's livelihood. Yet he turned around to Picard and said, no, I don't want to help you. I want to protect my family. How does that make any sense for the logical Geordie that we knew? How does that make any sense? If he ignores it, hold on, Matt, hold on. If he ignored it, right, then that means he would still be in danger, rather than helping his friend to try and stop this danger that will endanger his family and his career and the whole of Starfleet. That's what I didn't get. Why would he say no to that?
I think I can see why he would think twice. For a start,
it's all right thinking twice, but when you're faced with the facts,
why would he, for example, to believe Picard lock, stock, and barrel? If it's true and there is a conspiracy,
why would he not?
What's to say Picard is the real Picard? Because for all he knows, Picard, obviously, word that Picard had died, that had gone around.
Yeah.
So if there is a conspiracy, what means to say that you are telling the truth?
Yeah, why didn't you say I'd like to get inside you, Picard, and see how you tick?
But yes, I'm saying the thing is though, he didn't know any of that. Once he was told that, he still said no. It wasn't for that reason that you explained there. It was for a reason
it'd be a lot to take in.
No, it wasn't. He didn't say no for that reason that you explained. If he said that, then I would have accepted it. But he didn't. He said he wanted to protect his family, which doesn't make any sense, because if the Changeling has taken over,
it makes perfect sense. You'd want to protect. No,
if the Changeling has taken over the whole of the Federation, that means his job is in danger, his family's in danger, his very life is in danger. That's what it means. But you can see. You see, I felt that in the drama that played out in this across the scenes,
is because obviously this isn't real life. This is drama. Ian, you've written a damn sight more than I have.
Yeah, I
so
would never write
know.
it like that though, because it doesn't make any sense to me.
As I'm saying, what I say a lot to people is that this isn't real life. This is scripted drama.
Yeah, but there has to be a line,
the characters.
though,
we're seeing the character, but there is a line though. I think that LeVar Burton, who I've always liked. I liked him in the original show, even when Geordie wasn't always best served with material. But I always liked him.
I liked Geordie.
Well, when we got to see him do stuff, I thought he was brilliant. But like I say, I don't think the material always served him particularly well. But here, I mean, as an actor now, he's got that kind of, I suppose, kind of like Jonathan Frakes has got, where the 30 years experience in between, probably not just as an actor, but in real life as well. He's able to bring that to Geordie. And to me, he does remind me of Mr. Scott. He reminds me of that kind of Starfleet staple, Matt, that we've seen various. I'm going to keep using the word fastidious because I think that's how Geordie comes across in this. He's lovably fastidious, a little bit belligerent, and a bit crusty even.
Yeah. Crusty. Oh no, very much. Very. You've hit the nail on the head there, Dan. He was very crusty, and to be honest, I just felt it just didn't scream Geordie to me. And this particular scene, I literally groaned because they were trying to
okay,
evoke.
So Raffi and Worf,
whole...
we finally get to see them together again in this moment, though, Matt. I mean, shouldn't this be a moment where you think, oh, at last, Picard and Worf together again?
No, because they tried to evoke that bloody whole thing with Spock, and he's no Spock. I'm sorry, I love Worf to death, but he's no Spock. And they used the music. They used the same sort of scene where, when he gets on the ship from the motion picture, and it's like,
so which is this from?
Mr. Worf. Yeah, from the motion picture. It's that scene. It is literally almost for that entire scene, and it just didn't. No.
There were a lot of callbacks in this one, especially when
there's loads of callbacks in all of them. It's one of the reasons why I love it.
What's that woman who's the villain? The woman that smokes. I can't remember her name. The one that was in.
You mean that plumber?
Yeah, she shoots one of the guys. It reminds me when Krug shoots the guy in Star Trek 3, and he kind of reminds me of that scene. It was quite good.
Talking.
Yeah, I do like Worf though. I like him.
Yeah.
Oh, I love Worf too. But
Michael Dorn, 70 years of age.
Make him something he's not.
There he is, another piece of the puzzle, though. To see him with Patrick Stewart there, he gets a hug from Dr. Crusher, which I thought was another lovely moment. Yeah. Gates McFadden doesn't get to do as much in this, but I think what she does do, she does as well as ever. The conversation that she has with Picard about Jack's illness,
being a bit weird.
The way that they're gradually coming together, those two characters again. After I think Picard sees it that Beverly betrayed him a little, but he understands her reasons, So I think we're watching them work that through. But Picard's relationship with Worf was always fascinating as well. And the moments, I suppose the moment we all remember was where Picard called him a coward in First Contact, particularly strong.
Did,
but there was lots of great moments like that through the whole series, Ian. So to see them stood there together again, this is getting me every time they bring two of these characters back together. It's still having that emotional punch for me. It's not getting old yet, even after 6 weeks.
Look, this is the right way to do Star Trek, even though it's not. To me, it's not fully Star Trek. It's like 90% there. It's the right way to do it. We're engaged with the characters. We care about, what's happening. I didn't realize that the guy that plays Jack, Picard's son, he was the main villain in the series You. Because I just finished watching series 5, and I was like watching it. I was like thinking, where have I seen that guy before? And then I saw this episode. I was like, it's him. He's the main villain. But I like it when when Geordie came on board. Obviously, I was a bit miffed of who he's turned into. But I do love seeing them all come back together again. Do you know what I mean? And it's far too late though. They should have done this years ago. It would
have been nice, wouldn't it? Yeah. I suppose Patrick Stewart had gone on to not bigger things, but he was having such success as Professor X and the other things that he was doing.
Yeah, he was.
I suppose you can see why.
10 years later.
I still like Seven though. I think Seven's being pushed aside really in the last 4 episodes. No, last 2 episodes. But hopefully we'll get more action from her and more stuff from her. I think she's a really good character as well. In fact, I'd be really happy if they went with the Avengers with 9 and this guy here with the Titan. I'd be really happy if the others left and it was just those two.
Now you've said that. Oh, sorry, man.
Go on, man.
No, I was just saying, at least they had the awkwardness with her and Raffi.
Oh yeah, thank God they glossed over that.
Thank God. Yeah, but I was just saying they didn't. You know, they could have done the same thing.
It was underplayed. It was underplayed, wasn't it? The way that things often are when you bump into an ex. Yeah. You know, it's happened to me more often than not, believe me. And sometimes it's gone better than others. And so it's just a really nice moment. And again, you know, you can't help but think, but anytime that Raffi's on screen, obviously you are reminded a little of previous horrors in previous seasons. There's none of that with this, because it's written really well, because the two actresses are both really good. They know their parts. And it's completely fine. It's just as human as the rest of it. And yeah, I love this bit where Geordie and Picard were hugging, of course. Of course I did. So yeah,
that's, I don't know if that'd be
7 for me as well.
Where they hug.
Yeah.
7 wasn't in this as much, and neither was Shaw. But Shaw did get this moment where he kind of went a little bit weak at the knees at meeting Geordie. So I thought that was great. The respect that he wouldn't show Picard, he was showing Geordie. It's really interesting, showing another layer to this character. So we saw more layers to him, and we also got to see 7 in a quieter moment as well, where she effectively came home. We'll come to that in a little while, I've no doubt. But with Shaw, obviously, the more TNG characters come on screen and fill up the screen time, he is going to go slightly into the background. But as long as when he does appear, they're great moments that deepen the character, Matt, then not a scene is wasted again, is it?
Oh no, it was a bit weird where they just said, "Oh, let's go and just get Shaw out of the broom cupboard." Well, you know.
Well, but the thing is,
we're getting on with the next episode. That was a bit too.
No, but it is Picard, and it is about the next generation cast. So yeah, he's going to be pushed aside. But the thing is, though, he has made a mark in this show. So it's, you know, when he does appear, it's worth every penny. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, I don't mind him being pushed aside. There's also that scene where they had a lot of explanation of what's going on with the plot, where they're all sitting around the table. Do you remember that scene?
Yeah, the ready room scene. It wouldn't be Star Trek without a ready room scene, would it?
Too dark, though. Somebody should put a light on or something. I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah, I do like the aesthetic, and I stand up for it, because as I say,
it reminds me so much of First Contact, and I mean, I love First Contact, but it was even that was too dark.
No, well, it wasn't as dark as this. In First Contact, at least you could see what was going on, and you could.
I think their grading needs a lot better. They need someone.
I don't know. I don't know why they have it so dark. I mean, but physically, though, it makes no sense to have a ship that dark. You've got to see things, and do you know what I mean?
Well,
I don't understand why it's so dark. Yeah. Anyway, carry on.
Well, I mean, I think we've probably said this is one of those, I would say, arguments, one of those points we keep coming back to, like the swearing. Now, I can't get on board with the swearing. I can accept coming out of the characters. I can accept the decision has been made, and it's not harming my enjoyment as such. But it doesn't mean that I think they've made the right decision. I don't think
they got rid of all of that. According to Star Trek 4,
modernised it.
According to Star Trek 4. They don't swear like that in the 25th century, do they?
Yeah, but they obviously brought it back in, you know, because it's in the past. That's in the past now.
I know. But anyway.
Yeah, well, there were kind of forms of cuss words in Deep Space Nine I think it was just within Starfleet.
It all started with Data when they were crashing onto the planet, and in Generations, and he went, "Oh, she," and it never actually finished, and that was the point. That was the point where it sort of went. I think a lot of fans got upset with that, because there's no swearing in Star Trek, and
they might have got rid of that, didn't they? Because nobody works in the 21st century. Everybody's, you know, there's no rich, there's no poor in that world. They were saying. I remember in Star Trek, obviously it's different now, isn't it? With the Ferengis
again, the Deep Space Nine with the gold press Latinum, the whole economy. You saw
I
that
missed
it's
that too.
just within Starfleet that there's nothing like. I think it's the same with the swearing as well. But let us know what you think of that in the comments section. You know, we keep returning to these little niggles here. So, do they make a difference to you? Should we take a vote on this? I don't know. Let us know what you think of that.
Well, we never even talked about the gangster Vulcan, by the way, either.
Oh yeah, he was the guy.
I liked him. I liked him as
he
well.
Got killed.
He did. They killed him off as well.
Yeah, but it didn't. Yeah,
someone's going to die. The thing is, all of the characters, wherever they are, whether they're good guys or bad guys, all of the characters are really well realised, well cast, and you latch onto them and you know who they are. And there are so few. And I'm not just talking about Kurtzman Trek. But there are so few dramas, genre dramas in particular, where we've had this for years. The characterization has been diabolical, and I feel that a lot of this is down to the culture war. But I think it started even before that. I think it started with the machine of shows from places like the CW. You know, I liked the CW DC show, so I feel like I contributed to this problem. Not the swearing, but I'm talking more about the thinness of characterization.
Oh,
I think that. So when we get to a show like this, that's what I mean. They're killing off. Somebody has got to die for the stakes of this, the drama, for the drama to hit home and the stakes to raise. Some of these people have got to get killed off. But whoever they kill, whether it's a good guy or a bad guy, I like them. But it's because it's been written so well, and we've been on rations right across entertainment for well-realized characters in proper scripts for years. So Terry and everybody in the writers' room on this, I think they're doing incredible work. Not just in that, but in.
Well, CW started off with good stuff, Dan, didn't it? I mean, Arrow, when Arrow started, it was brilliant. I mean, the storytelling in Arrow was fantastic.
Like I say, I feel like I contributed to it because I nobody was a bigger fan of the Arrowverse than me. I absolutely loved it for years. Watched it all.
And the Flash when it started, then suddenly it just turned into a woke fest all the way through. And the Supergirl turned into a woke fest faster than the others. And you know, and then they got these writers in. That's all part of the so-called religion, and that's what happened. You know,
American network TV, since the days of TNG, they used to describe it as a sausage factory. Then, so that was 30 years.
But
ago.
at least the stories made sense, didn't they? I mean, look at Next Generation stories. They were terrific. I mean, even going back to the '60s Star Trek, some of the stories in the '60s Star Trek was. I always maintain that I did not eat pancakes after that episode with Spock got the pancake on his back. I couldn't eat any pancakes anymore. You know what I mean? So those episodes were great.
You know, when this season wraps up, you know, the Star Trek coverage is not going to stop. I do feel like a born-again Trekkie, and you're going to get a lot more Trek talk from us here at the Spacebook channel. And Warp Drive, which was a show that we originally did like 2 or 3 years ago, which I mothballed indefinitely after the abhorrent Star Trek Discovery Season 3. And I'd like to continue talking about Star Trek.
No, it was all of that. It was all of it.
I made it through Season 1 of Lower Decks. I held the course then because I honestly thought that Discovery Season 3, I thought, no, because they'd got a new showrunner and they got this new premise and they got a shiny new logo, and Sonequa Martin Green had let her hair go longer and she looked fucking gorgeous. I thought that no, this is going to be good. And how wrong was I? 10 weeks later, my God. Anyway, back to this. So yes, Daystrom Station. This picks up on, again, it's a legacy character from Star Trek. Daystrom was in the original series as well, mentioned several times throughout, I think in particular Deep Space Nine, maybe TNG as well. A little bit rusty on all of that. But here we go to this space station, which is described as Section 31's Area 51. That's what one of the characters said. I can't remember who called it that, but yeah, it's completely accurate. Gets you right there, right away, gets you up to speed. You're in no doubt about what's going on, why and where. So Riker goes there, doesn't he? Along with 7 of 9 and Worf, is it? Or was it Raffi?
No, it's Raffi and Worf.
We'll find out in a couple of minutes when the picture's gone. But yeah, they go to, that's it. So they're on the space station, and weird shit starts happening right away, doesn't it, Matt? So there's a crow starts flying around. and there's various tunes in the air, and again,
and
great
member berries in the
callbacks.
cells, and
Right, I'm going to penalise. I'm going to turn your mic off if you say member berries again. But, so yeah, this is what I mean about this middle section of the season being where all that heavy lifting, the real reaches into the lore are becoming more apparent, and no, leaning on it isn't true, because I think the story is solid enough, but they're bringing it all in to the right measures, and they're having fun with it. I think they're having a lot of fun with this. We get to see Moriarty again now. Yep. Moriarty was in the trailer for this season, and it's played again by the same actor who played this character back in the original series of TNG. I think that's a character flourish. I think
he was
that's
in
a
the
little
Nanny,
bit of
wasn't he?
The actors
he was in that series.
The Nanny.
Yeah, he was the butler in the Nanny. In the Nanny with Fran Drescher.
You're talking about that comedian woman
comedy
with
series.
The dark hair.
Yeah.
She sounded like she was from the Bronx or something.
Yes. You don't remember this? Oh.
I remember.
No, I don't. But I remember him. I remember the 2 episodes of the original show back in the 80s.
Because he became sentient, didn't he?
That's right. Yeah.
In the original series, in the second episode, he became sentient. So
he first appeared in Elementary, My Dear Data back in season 2, and then I think the second episode with the beautiful Stephanie Beacham there in season 6, I think it was, where they put him together with Reg Barkley, didn't they? The character that Dwight Schultz played. So I'm very familiar with the first episode. I haven't seen the second one in quite some time, but of all the characters for them to pick up again, I had forgotten how much I liked this character, how much fun he was, and to get him back played by the same actor, it's good stuff. I mean, it's a little superficial, but it is linked to Data, and Data, it turns out, all of this tracks back to Data. I mean, I'd completely forgotten about the Crow, and I still can't quite remember which episode that was. That Data was.
I can't remember either. But I mean, Riker picked up on it, didn't he? The Crow, the tune, he picked up on it, and they showed that wonderful clip.
Yeah, well, lucky they brought him.
The first episode, didn't they? And just took me right back to when I first saw that. I was so excited about watching The Next Generation. It took me right back to that episode, and it was fantastic, absolutely fantastic. But
the proper callback to Encounter at Farpoint, just wonderful stuff. And so I thought that. Well, I actually imagined, as a lot of people did, that this character, that Moriarty, would be a far bigger part of it than he actually was. I mean, turns out he was sort of manifest as a ghoul, really, wasn't it? As just one of several things to stop them from getting deeper into the station and discovering all the various things and bits and bobs that Section 31 have squirreled away on this space station. So
there were a lot of things in the background. I don't know if you noticed. There was the Genesis Mark II.
Oh, he's going to have shots of it, don't worry.
Yeah, Captain Kirk's body, apparently.
He knows me so well.
Body.
Yeah, I do.
Captain Kirk's body, what's that all about?
Oh, don't go there. No.
So
okay, so
weird,
first we got this. We had Tribble.
Yeah, but that was a crazy. That was attack Tribble, wasn't the crazy one? Yeah.
That was a genetically modified
scary.
one.
That actually looks scary, don't you think?
They look more scarier. They look more scarier with Kirk.
Yeah.
Well, they've made it look like a face hugger, haven't they, from the Alien movies?
Yeah.
Which again, you could say, oh, come on, they were never like that, but we never saw the underside of them, did we? So
no, but they were genetically. This was genetically modified. They said it was.
Oh yeah, they did. Yeah. Oh, I've say getting it bigger on screen. I can see that it's even got. Yeah, this is absolutely a massive rip off of the face hugger.
Yeah, it's got teeth. It's horrible.
Snatch Tribble. Did he really just say that? I can't. So we've got that. What else have I got here? I have got some pictures here. Where are they? So yeah, I was slowing down the episode to work out exactly what was in there. So I did clock the Genesis device, which sort of looks like a giant dildo, really.
Mark II.
Is that what it said?
It said Mark II on it. Yeah, it was like, did it say Mark II? I'm sure it did. So it wasn't the original, because the original got blown up, didn't it? So it must have got to be.
What,
Mark
did they make
II,
a second one? Did they?
Looks like it. That's according to that. Yeah, it was.
Because the first one worked out so well.
Yeah, the first
Well,
one got blown up.
They can't help themselves, can they? Of course, this is the bit where I had to. Now, I initially didn't pay any attention to this scene at all, but when we pass a door and we do see a display there with Captain of the USS Enterprise, we hear a heartbeat, and the tag identifies it as being James T. Kirk. That's in that whatever it is, in that containment unit. This is very exciting. Well, I'm finding this very exciting.
Why wouldn't they go, oh my God, it's the captain of the USS Enterprise, we better get him out?
They're not supposed to be there, Matt.
Yeah.
They
had no problem getting data out, but there you go.
Yeah, but to them, I mean, Captain Kirk is just but a memory.
A guy who lived 200 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. So why would they? But they're definitely there to pick up, what's important, aren't they?
And also, they've just seen Moriarty, who's a kind of ghost. If I was them, I wouldn't know what or which of these things I was looking at is real and what is an illusion. Any of this could be a trick or a trap.
Do you know what, Dan? I just thought that the only character that has not been altered, in my opinion, is Worf. Worf, apart from him saying he's passive now, apart from that, character-wise, he's still the same Worf.
Develops.
Isn't he? Yeah.
I think it's exactly the same. What they've done with Worf is exactly the same as they've done with Geordie. Myself, I can't see any difference.
I don't know. We'll have to agree to disagree there, pal.
Just taking him in a different direction. But yeah, I slowed this down. What is that? What? And yeah, that is Captain James T. Kirk is in there. The last time this is the legendary, the one, the only William Shatner. Played Captain James T. Kirk, of course, all those years from 1966 right the way through to 1994, when he appeared to expire under a bridge there in Star Trek Generations.
He did die. He did.
Well, that's how it looked to me. But
he did die. That's the stupid thing. I don't know.
Well, they intended that he was dead, but and we never
throw something out there.
Picard buried him. Didn't he? We know that.
Yep.
But it looks like it was a little bit previous, because it's been a while since I've seen this. Obviously, because he's spent several years, hasn't he, living in the Nexus?
Yeah.
Which is, and I can't quite remember.
Well,
it's been
you do actually remain. Okay, so there is a part of you that still remains in the Nexus, because Guinan also stays in the Nexus. So there's half and half. So there's a physical body, and then there's the like it has a memory inside the Nexus as
like
well.
An imprint, an echo.
So, yeah, and so that was actually, I don't know if you're aware, but I don't know why we're getting into this lore, but Kirk, William Shatner actually did a book called The Return.
He did,
which actually explains.
It's a trilogy, wasn't that? A trilogy of books.
Yeah, and it actually explains how he survived, because he still remains in the Nexus.
Because when he went in the Nexus, to him it seemed like a couple of days, didn't it?
Yeah.
But in reality, he jumped 200 years in time to the next generation. That's how they met, isn't it? Through the Nexus.
Because it was inside because he's inside like a time bubble.
Yeah. So
and that's why Picard can go back to his like
it's
childhood.
Clear during that film, loads of. I mean, that's a great explanation there, Matt, and I've no doubt that you're right. But I think if I was to boil it down, I'd say there was a lot of freaky shit going on.
Yeah, it was.
And lots of energy transference. 1 minute you're corporeal, the next minute you're a human being again. So anything could potentially happen. So the idea that Kirk, well, obviously he is alive in there. If this is not an illusion, that's Kirk in there. Now there is a graphic underneath there where somebody has gone to the trouble of writing that out, typing it out, and thanks to Jorg Hildebrand, we've got a translation of that here. So it says Star Trek officer James T. Kirk was captain of the Enterprise during the historic 5-year mission. By 2270, Kirk earned an impressive list of commendations, including blah 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 blah, and a Medal of Valor, Silver Palm, all these various things. It ends with saying Captain Kirk was critically injured, not fatally, critically injured, while assisting Captain Jean-Luc Picard during a mission on Viridian 3. His body was retrieved by Project Phoenix.
Ooh.
Obviously, Phoenix, we all know what
that means. Yep.
refers to. And yes, this is a rewrite. Kirk was intended to die in Generations, but fortunately, Generations was, and I'm speaking as somebody who likes that movie, quite a ham-fisted film.
It was, yeah.
I'd even go so far as to say it was clumsily made.
It was.
And so...
well, Malcolm McDowell was always made the villain in a lot of those things back then, wasn't he? Like Tank Girl and all that.
He was good, though. I liked Malcolm McDowell. He was good. He was really good.
No, he's wonderful.
I think he's pretty wicked. So, there's a difference between being critically injured and fatally injured is the distinction I believe that they're making here in this little bit of texture. Are they going to go back to it? William Shatner is, he's often said, hasn't he, that he would like to play Kirk again, but that the door was firmly shut. I think somebody's just propped it open again in the week that William Shatner...
It won't be William Shatner, though, will it?
Turned 92.
Yeah, but Dan, it wouldn't, because we're talking about synthetic bodies now.
I can
So
see
that's
what
open
they're
the door
planning.
to anything. Yes, if they do bring him back, they'll bring him back as someone else, won't they? Somebody else would be playing
I don't know. I can't see personally. I don't know what the ultimate destiny for the character would be. Obviously, this is the earliest of days for this. They may not pick up on it for years, if ever.
No,
I personally can't see any point in doing this.
Yeah.
If you're not going to give William Shatner an opportunity to play Captain James T. Kirk one more time. I think that's what people want. I think that's what William Shatner wants.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
That's what George Takei wants as well.
You know what? Screw George Takei. That guy's gone so far down in my estimations.
I used to like
I was
him.
so worried where he's going.
I used to really like him
all the time.
I used to think to myself, when I saw the sixth one, I thought, wouldn't it be great to have a series with him and the Excelsior and stuff like that? I do.
Now, of course, I love George Takei, but if it was a toss up between having which one back in the show for some sort of cameo, of course it'd be Shatner. Of course,
Don't dangle like something like that down there.
Yeah, I mean, William Shatner. Let's face it, he's the Shat, and basically he's he's Star Trek. He's Star Trek. But the actual company and Star Trek itself has been really mean to him by taking him off posters and all kinds of nonsense. So I don't blame him that he's a bit.
Paramount would have.
Do you think that any of them saw this? Because, like you say, they won't even put him on a poster. And Terry Matalas has sort of pretty much put him. I wouldn't say this has stolen the episode.
If someone's tweeted that to William.
I hope so.
His reaction
Kirk lives. It does seem possible because for a sci-fi hero, Ian, you talk a lot about heroism. Well, we all do, and for Captain Kirk to go out like that, it was a
terrible.
bit shit, wasn't it?
It was awful. That was the worst thing they ever did. I mean, I didn't really like Generations. I was excited in the cinema, and when it started, I thought this is going to be great. And then when I left the cinema, I was frowning. I went in smiling, came out frowning because I just didn't think the film was good at all, personally. And they killed. It
was a missed opportunity.
And they killed Kirk.
I think it probably was.
Why would I be happy about that? So there you go. Anyway,
Geordie didn't look very happy for a lot of this episode. Come to think of it,
grumpy old man now, isn't he? Yeah. He's not reminding me of anyone in particular.
But no. You know what? Right, he looks like my next door neighbour. He does. He definitely looks like my next door neighbour. With the way
I don't think the beard suits him.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't at all.
No. I like the fact that when he got his eyes done, but and I still miss that bit actually.
When you go into his pupils, there you can still see their robot eyes. It's really nicely done. So, what do you think about his place of employment then? This shipyard that he's sort of got, this museum where Geordie he's the curator, isn't he? And the guardian, the custodian of all these fabulous ships from, very fortunately for us, from TV shows and movies past. They're all there docked at this space station, and Geordie's got the keys to all of them. He's a bit like an intergalactic Vin Diesel, isn't he?
Yeah, I thought when I first saw this, I thought to myself, they're only putting it in to call back loads. But it does have something that happens that actually makes the episode a bit better, doesn't it? They do something with one of the ships. Am I allowed to give out spoilers? Probably.
Yeah, everybody's seen it.
They get the cloaking device from the Bounty, which is the ship they used in Star Trek 4, which I thought was a stroke of.
They pulled from the ocean.
Yes, I thought
Mile
was great.
It took ages for them to find it
because they found out that every ship has a beacon or something like that. So that's how they could trace the ship. So by getting the thing out of this thing, that was great, and it was Jack's idea as well. That's why I like Jack so much. I think Jack's very much Captain Kirk tone. I really think he deserves his own show.
About it
he's a proactive character, isn't he?
Yeah.
He gets stuff done. He's played so well, and this is a classic kind of hero that we want to get behind, and we want in a show like Star Trek to pick up the torch, I suppose, of James T. He really does remind me of William Shatner. More to the point, Chris Pine, come to think of it, but I think he's very much that kind of
I never thought Chris Pine was a good Captain Kirk, personally. I thought Quinton was good as the Spock, but I never thought Chris Pine.
Oh no, I liked
McCoy
better.
Did you?
I liked all of them.
Oh yeah, I like the guy who played McCoy. What was his name? The guy who played Judge Dredd. He was good as
Carl Urban.
Urban.
Carl Urban.
I've met him. He's a very nice guy.
In each scene between Ed Spaliers and Patrick Stewart, obviously deepens their connection.
Yeah,
and they seem to be coming together slowly but surely. I think Jack's always respected him, but begrudgingly so, but being thrust into this situation.
No, but he's realizing why Picard took the stance and why he loves Starfleet so much. He's beginning to become part of Starfleet. You can tell he is.
The calling, isn't it?
I wouldn't be surprised if they left the ship and he stayed on with.
We're going to talk about the romance between him and Geordie's daughter.
Matt, what? Talking, man. Come on.
Sorry,
Mike. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he left. He stayed on the ship and all the things left, and he stayed with Grumpy Jaws there. You know what I mean?
That wouldn't happen. I don't think they'd only have Starfleet. No, I think they'd only have Starfleet on their ships. They wouldn't actually have a civilian on there unless he went through the academy. Yep.
Probably.
No, they'd have to, because you just don't get to wear a suit.
Also, I don't like those chairs. Do you like those chairs?
Yeah.
I don't. They seem a lot thinner.
Bit stiff.
The originals, it was a bit more wider. They were more comfortable. They look really uncomfortable in those chairs for some reason. I don't know why. It just looks really uncomfortable.
They're quite high backed, aren't they?
Yeah. Anyway, whatever. Carry on.
Yes. So
that's his real daughter, by the way.
Yeah, the girl on the left. She's apparently LeVar Burton's real life daughter. It seems like a complex relationship, not just between the father and both daughters, but between the daughters and one another as well. A little bit of sibling rivalry, maybe. That they've reached an understanding between them, I think, but that isn't necessarily one that's shared by their dad. Again, I think that her name's Sydney Chestnut, isn't it? Who plays?
Which one?
Who plays Ensign LaForge.
The other daughter.
Yeah, I really like her, and I'm starting to really fancy her again. And I'm not alone. You just said it a moment ago, Matt. It isn't just us that are starting to crush on Crash. It's Jack Crusher as well, isn't it? This stuff just comes out.
I'll leave you two alone, shall I?
I think she's gorgeous. I don't know about you.
She's lovely.
You don't think she's gorgeous, Matt? No.
Is that's the one the Crusher's got the crush on?
Yeah, the one in the red, the one who works
I know
on the
what
time.
you mean.
The other one's pretty. The girl on the left is really pretty as well. But...
I get it. I'd go for either of them, so I'm not fussy.
I take sexy over pretty.
It's good though. As I said, this episode was quite good as well. I really like this episode a lot. I think it was better than last week's episode, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, it was. And like I say, I scored. I think last week, if we'd have done a show,
lot more in this episode.
Why did you groan, Matt?
Vent
a little, because this has become a bit of a loving. So vent a little.
No, I just found that it just had too many inserts of things that have come before. That's a nice way of saying the M word. So it just like
you just felt it was a little too much, a little too relentless.
Yes. Yes,
That's feasible. That's fine. I can see.
It went overflowed a bit.
You know,
I was a gibbering wreck, but no, fair enough.
There's two bits that I didn't like in this episode. One was the Geordie characterization, which I already said. But two, I didn't like the idea that suddenly now Data is in this old body, and I was like, they're only doing that because they want the actor back, and they obviously didn't want to.
There's a reason for it.
I know. It's just a little gripe, though. Do you know what I mean?
No, I get it.
It is the most contrived thing they've done in this entire season.
Yeah, it is.
Because and this is, there's no way of avoiding this.
Yeah.
Previous seasons of Picard have mauled Data so badly.
Yes.
That they've, to exclude Brent Spiner from this wouldn't have been right.
Exactly.
I wouldn't say he is Star Trek: The Next Generation, but he's a very important component part of it. And when I initially thought he was coming back just to play Lore, I thought that's fine, that's cool. Lore was an interesting character, and I know that Brent Spiner will do interesting things with him. But I think what they're actually doing in having a new synthetic body, which is an upgraded Data, which will contain the personalities of Lore, Data, and B4, is a mild stroke of genius. And even though the thing is,
when that B4 voice come out,
even though the thing is slightly contrived, I feel there's dramatic. There's a place to go there dramatically we haven't been to before. A place they certainly can't go to with Picard himself, because he's just got a synthetic body transplant. He's not an android; he's a man. But with Data, we've still got that. We've still got that tie to the original character, to the synthetic life, artificial life. Picard isn't artificial life.
I know it was in a Starfleet uniform, but one of the things that I always liked was the fact that there's an episode of Next Gen where they find Data's head, and they turn around and they go, "Could it be Lore?" You know. But that never even comes up in the conversation. It's like, oh, this is Data, you know? And it's like, but, you know, how do you know it's not Lore? You know, you've
I'm
thought about this before,
there because
Riker.
we can have some answers from our somebody who's beaming in from, if not from another starship, from another channel. It's a friend of yours and a friend of mine. The one and only Mr. Culture Casino is joining us, beaming aboard the USS Spacebook.
Permission to come aboard, Captain.
The depths of space as well, Culture. Good to see you, mate. How are you?
I'm wonderful. I'm glad to be here. I'm sorry I'm a bit tardy and I don't have a lot of time, but let me suggest this to answer Matt's query that I was listening to. I was listening to Utter Madness while I was maintaining the yard.
Go on. What's with it?
We know that
that
Data was in charge of the AI for the base that they just entered. Correct? You know, they just broke into. And he was the one that would be familiar with Moriarty specifically. Yes. So that would explain why they would believe that it would be Data. However, we come to find out, hello, Museum. How far along through the episode are you? Going step by step, or
we're sort of hopping along, really.
Okay,
we're hopping backwards.
Then you know, it would seem to be that he has possession of all of every version of himself, which would make sense if they've gone about all the trouble of collecting all of this memorabilia to like data mine it, right? Literally. You know, they would definitely combine them all in the same positronic brain if they could. Yeah. You know, and again, I mean, you had before in there, you know, all of the different iterations of Data just kind of all combined, including Noonien Singh. So, like I said, you would have to believe that the dominant personality obviously would be Data, because Data conjured Moriarty as the AI adversary. But that's me looking at it with, you know, lots and lots of
logic.
Well, putting it all together, right? Yeah. Does it mean that I enjoyed this at all? No. Do I have the same gripes that many people do? Yes, because androids don't age.
Exactly.
So,
they did say in the script that there's a biological component to this new Data, that he is biological.
It's obvious they only did that because they wanted the actor back and they couldn't afford the CGI.
Exactly. This is in my view, I don't know how. Well, we'll find out, I suppose. But in my view, Culture, this I've loved all of this season. I'm aware that some of it has been a little contrived, but I'm fine with it. This obviously this is a massive contrivance, and I'm still okay with it. But are you not a fan of season 3? Then are you not as on board as certainly myself?
I've seen very good things, and again, I think I've said this in multiple places in various ways, including obviously social media. This is 1,000 steps in the right direction.
Oh,
yeah. I think Terry's done a wonderful job, but I have yet to experience an episode where I wasn't pulled out multiple times throughout the show.
By memories of stuff that hadn't worked before, or do you think the writing's not up to scratch, or in what sense?
Again, everything about this production, whether it be the writing, the acting, and everything else, is 1,000 miles forward. I think everybody here would agree. I mean,
yeah,
absolutely.
Terry did a wonderful job, but with what he was given, and that's the problem. He was hamstrung by things that were, I think somebody else mentioned, they were kind of foisted upon him by the previous 2 seasons. He has to try to reconcile what he wants to do, his vision, with what came before, and kind of stick the landing. I don't know how you do that. I have been overwhelmed with the slow, drudging pace of bringing on everybody from TNG all over again. Whether you want to regard what is being done as fan service, what is being done as
do you feel they've been treading water then, that we should have got to this point a few episodes earlier? Is that
I think we largely should have had the family come together faster for one more ride. I feel like this is the same complaints that we had about the first episode of the Star Wars Disney trilogy, the sequel trilogy. I feel like this is the same argument. If you're going to get the band back together, get the band back together. If it took very long to get here, and while we did land 2 fan favorite characters in this latest episode in proximity, it just took forever. It just took forever. And
see, to me, this seems like apples to compare this to the way that the ball was fumbled in The Force Awakens. Apples to oranges to me. For me, in this, that was just 2 hours of screen time. Here we've got 10 hours of screen time. Sure. So when they're bringing people on, they're not just sort of coming on with a fanfare and isn't this cool and isn't this a sort of punch the air moment. We're getting to really catch up with these characters and get to know them again. Actors are getting a chance to flesh them out again, and there's so much pathos involved. To me, this to me, Coach, you see what you're talking about there is the difference between cinema and television.
Perhaps, and again, I'm willing to give you that point, except that we do have only 10 hours of television here. And I do feel like, it's taken this long to get to this point. They better be building up to something extraordinary.
See, if anybody who loves these characters, though, Culture, is the fact is, for me, 20 hours would probably never be enough, and neither would 30.
Well, it's true, but the question is going to be, and obviously we know that Jean-Luc Picard, Patrick Stewart, is out after this season. I mean, his contract ends here. I'm not sure I would want to see him almost collapse in every scene, because
we said similar last week, I think.
Oh, really? Okay, I'm sorry I missed it. But no, like you said, I have a lot of positive things to say, and if I were to talk with Terry, I don't know if you watch some of this stuff, because there's been other channels that have had the fortune to have him on with them.
Yeah, Terry was in the chat for the first 2 of these shows, so he has, right. And he sent me a personal message as well, which is very kind.
He's liked a couple of my tweets, and Yellow Flash.
He doesn't like me.
Oh, I'm sorry, Matt. Well, I like you.
That's impossible. Everybody loves you.
Does that help, Matt?
He doesn't like me because I don't like Battlestar Galactica.
I love that. What? We are
fight for it all day.
All right, someday, Matt, you will hash it out, I assure you. But no, I like I said, I mean, I would tell Terry personally, if I ever got the opportunity to talk to him, I would say, I appreciate everything you've done, because you've done. I mean, this is epic levels of work that he's put in to try to bring us this love back. Because I mean, who here wasn't a fan of the TOS, right? The original series. Yeah. Who wasn't a fan of TNG? Who wasn't a fan of Deep Space Nine? Who wasn't I wasn't really a fan of Voyager. I got to be honest, but who wasn't a fan of all of these characters going along, right? And from all of the different shows, and there's a soft spot in my heart for a couple of episodes of some things that I didn't like, but I would be able to tell Terry, and I would love to, that I appreciate what he's trying to do. I really do, and I really honestly wish he would have been the person that was tapped for this from the very
originally,
beginning. Yeah, because I don't think we would be where we are. And one last thing, and then I will shut up because I've dominated the conversation.
That's all right.
Okay.
Culture, we get sick of listening to one another, so it's fine.
Exactly.
All right. Well,
it's good to have you back, mate.
First of all, you all have lovely voices, so I don't know how you would be sick of each other. But all right.
All Americans say that our voices, we find our voices terrible. Well, there you go.
All right. After being afforded the opportunity to spend time with you personally, Ian,
yeah.
I had a lovely time hanging out with you, but not long enough though. I would have spent.
No, it wasn't. No, sorry.
No, it's all right. And your family members are lovely, by the way.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Anyway, I digress. I really wish we had not been saddled again with Raffi. Do not like the character. I don't know. She's probably a brilliant actress. I mean, she's able to convince me of her character. So I haven't seen her in anything else, so I can't speak to that. I think because of she's trapped with a backstory that didn't make any sense. And she was tried in this most recent season.
Dame Judi Dench would have had trouble selling some of the stuff they gave that woman to say in previous seasons.
I know. I feel bad for her, to be honest with you, but she does a good job of convincing me she's that character. I'm just not a fan of that character. It has nothing to.
Yeah, I feel the same.
Yeah, and so trying to bring her level of import up for this season. It kind of is it's not off-putting is a strong word, strong statement. I would say I just
he's kept characters in. I think he's kept that character in there to make the people who, for what God knows, whatever reason, like the previous 2 seasons of Picard,
right,
to actually have some continuity. And I think that's the reason why he's brought him back.
Otherwise, professional artistic integrity, I think, comes into it as well.
Right.
I think he would view. I think I would like to think, and I haven't seen any of Terry's other work, but I think he probably viewed it as a sort of creative challenge. And maybe he knew the actress personally. Maybe she was under contract. I don't know. But to see if that character could be salvaged.
And I think he's on the right path, right? I just felt like this is the problem. He was saddled with so much.
He was.
There are so many questions I'd love to ask Terry Matalis. I do hope that he will pick up my invitation of coming on for a chat at some point.
I'd like to chat with him too.
Very busy guy.
He's one of us, so it's
very much so.
It would be a simple conversation, And I, like I said, but maybe it best be left to like the last episode to be able to, be afforded the opportunity to speak with him. But I have said a few uncharitable things, but they're not directed at him nor this production. It's with everything.
No, it's never been anything like that, has it?
Yeah. It's just I'm sure you feel the same way, Matt. I just feel like had you not been weighed down by what had happened the first 2 seasons, but I will get past that, and I have been getting past that. And you know what? I actually am waiting for the next episode, which I never thought I would say about Star Trek again.
Yep,
so you do. I look forward to it every week.
It took me 4 episodes to want to look forward to it again, but like I said, that's the problem. Is I need things to make sense, and I have to make my peace with things that came before. And how many versions of Picard are we going to have now?
Exactly.
Because I think there are strong hints towards Locutus. I think Locutus's consciousness. I hope they don't pick up the Borg thread again, because I do think the Borg used to be terrifying. I won't say they've become a joke, but I think that we need a little bit of distance between us and the Borg for them to build them up as something scary again. And I'm sure that will happen. Here's the thing I would love to have is to have the Borg for some reason be confronting an evil greater than themselves and have to align with Starfleet. If I were to write a script that would carry...
They sort of did that in the last season of Picard, didn't they? But it was so badly
It was
because the
I'm
season
thinking of
had
the Orville as well.
had no shape. It was, in my view, it was put together by gross incompetence, and so they tried to do something like that, but it had no dramatic punch because there were so many different plates spinning at the same time. It was impossible to follow any particular story. Characters were observing situations rather than being part of them, so the consequences were never going to impact on them in any way. So we couldn't feel it. And I feel like they've spent so much of the force of the Borg that they could possibly do what you're suggesting, Culture, and go back and do a bit of a do-over with that kind of story.
Yeah, I think. Well, I mean, this is ultimately why I think a lot of people are having trouble getting into this show because of what came before. I'm going to keep saying that, unfortunately, apparently, but so much of that capital was spent in the first two seasons in many different areas. So much of that goodwill capital, that fan capital, the character capital, all at every level. So much of that was spent there. Like I said, what Terry is doing is admirable. He gambled in the foreign currency in exchange and was able to recreate some capital out of nowhere. I don't know, but I think you're right, though. I think they could go back and dip their foot back in that pond. Like I said, if I were going to write a story going forward, I would be looking for a greater evil. I like the shapeshifter. This is the weirdest thing. I like the shapeshifters aspect of this story. Every time there's been some form of like the Starfleet compromised plot, I've always enjoyed it. A lot of this kind of reaches back into original TNG. If you're familiar with the episodes I'm referring to, where you have something from within try to take over. I like that. It's kind of a mirror to our world right now, but I won't get deeply into that. Not to draw parallels or anything, but like I said, I like it. I don't know where they're going with this, and I think that was part of a conversation I had with Yellow Flash, and in messages on Twitter.
I mean,
I love Yellow Flash. Really like his comic book coverage.
I did like this episode, but as I said, there are a couple of things I didn't like about it, and certain things that I didn't like, as I mentioned before. But it's as you say, Casino. It's going in the right direction. I don't know what's going to happen after this is all finished. Whether they're going to bring Star Trek back. What's that?
I was going to ask you, Ian. This is episode 6. Yeah. We've got 4 left to come. Yeah. Have you got any predictions for the rest of this season, or are you just happy to be along for the ride? Because you were, of all of us, you were very reluctant to invest in this at the start. So I won't say you've had a complete turnaround, but it's noticeable. You're very smiley, but you're quite grumpy at the beginning. So have you got any predictions, or are you just happy to keep watching?
I'm just happy to keep watching. I mean, it is enjoyable. I still have my reservations, though. It's not quite Star Trek for me, though, but it's better than the last 2 seasons. I never saw the second season. I only saw the first one. That was enough for me. If it wasn't for Terry Matalas tweeting me, I would never be watching this. I'd probably wait a whole year and then watch it. Do you know what I mean? I would never be watching this now. So, but I'm glad I'm watching it because it's very entertaining, But it's like 5 steps away from the real Star Trek, in my opinion. I'm
even interested in the prospects. We've got Will Hadcroft watching on YouTube as well. The writer, Will Hadcroft, our mate, who says, will Robot Picard end up back in a flesh and blood body? It's obviously going somewhere. I've got no idea where it's going to go. His destiny could be tied to this new version of Data. I'm really excited to find out, because I think the ideas in this, they're not revolutionary, but I think they're deftly employed and used to maximum dramatic effect.
I thought he died. Data.
Which one?
Didn't he, in season 1? Did they
he has died. He has died 2 or 3 times. Yeah, I mean, I've got to be honest. I watched season 1.
I've watched him die twice.
He died as well at the end of Nemesis, didn't he? But the stuff, all that stuff in season 1 of Picard as regards Data, hold my hands up and say I didn't understand a bloody word of any of it. I thought it was absolute total nonsense, and it's to the credit. I think that Brent Spiner went largely to work with his friend again, because out of loyalty to Patrick Stewart, and it does him good service, I suppose, that he's that loyal to a friend. But it was clearly total nonsense. Nothing could save it.
Yeah.
We do see the return of
story, wasn't it? Looked like Brokeback Starship, didn't it?
We did see the return of one more face. Hide your eyes, Matt. I know she's not your favourite person in the world. I had a huge crush on her for years back in the 80s and the early 90s. Their culture, and Marina Sirtis is back. Looks like next week.
No, I like her. God, I saw her. We actually locked eyes together. It was amazing.
Oh, did you? Oh, okay. Well,
yeah, Comic-Con one year. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You dark horse, you. So, this is the lay of the land. Riker, he's been nabbed, hasn't he? By the founders, by the Dominion, whatever, the changelings. So they've got him, but they're trying to leverage him, aren't they? Because they've also got his delectable wife, the lovely Deanna Troi there. I don't know where their daughter is. Maybe they've got her too. We'll find out when they pick that up. But this does mean, a son. Well, this is the thing about these characters. They only tell us what they need to tell us for each individual episode, and I think that's to leave themselves somewhere to go. You said, Ian, has Geordie got any more kids? Maybe. I don't know, and I can't wait to find out. But of course, with Deanna Troi back on screen as well, this does mean that we're getting closer. So I believe that this episode that we watched, The Bounty, is the first one to have all of those names on the credits, all of those actors back as those original characters from the TNG, the original TNG, were present somewhere in that episode, and we can't be too far away, Casino, from that moment that you want, where we will get them on screen. We will get that moment that J.J. Abrams and his various cohorts over in a galaxy far, far away chose not to give us in those Star Wars films. We know it's all been shot. It's going to happen. It's got to happen.
Well, where's Barclay? Barclay's missing. Come on.
Where's Tasha?
Bring his wig on.
Exactly.
Oh wow! If Tasha Yar came back, I would be thrilled.
Where's Wesley?
Oh, she wasn't enjoyed.
Fine. No, Wesley can stay far away. He can. I think he died in an off.
He has issues.
Yeah, I think he died. I think he died in an off-scene thing, but not off camera. But no, I don't know. Maybe we'll get that moment. That what worries me is that there's going to be a decision that will have to be made, and someone will have to be sacrificed. If I were going to make predictions, I think that somebody will be sacrificed. I think
someone's going to die, going to proper die as well. Proper die.
Yeah, if I were to speculate, I believe it would be Jean-Luc Picard. I think I
think Data should go a third time too.
They can't kill Data again. That'd be fucking ridiculous.
I wouldn't put it past Metallus. I wouldn't.
They kill him a lot, and it's just I have to tell you,
they killed Data again.
Culture. Dorn is brilliant.
Yeah, he is.
And I mean you got LaForge. I mean, you have like two of my favorite characters, on the show, just bringing their performance right back, and LaForge is doing a great job. The actor, reading Rainbow.
I agree with you. See, Ian, it's not just me.
Yeah, he is. I mean, he is an older, wiser character in his own. He's come into his own.
He's steadfast and he's a patriarch, isn't he, Culture? This is the kind of man you want at the head of a family, looking after his kids, looking after his.
Yeah, and I like the estranged daughter with a good relationship with dad, rather than a bad dad trope, right? So he's got one daughter.
It was nuanced, wasn't it?
Yeah, also, guys.
Family.
Also, it's really strange to see a man in a show like this come up with a great idea and persuade two women to help him. And it happened in this show.
It doesn't happen anymore. You are correct.
It doesn't happen anymore, but it did happen in this show. Remember, Jack came up with the idea, and those two girls were listening to him. Let's go and do it, guys.
Yeah, but I think there was some other things going on there too.
Oh yeah, because he fancied.
Hey.
Like I said, the only look, there's fair criticism to be made in the show, and of course, there's some overly stilted dialogue here. I mean, there's things that are eloquently stated that are over eloquent. They could be said more plainly, and at the same time, the vernacular that's being used in this show is inappropriate. And I'm not just speaking about the curse words, which I'm not a fan of.
This is a subject we keep returning to as well,
Too
Culture.
modern,
None of us are none of us are comfortable with it. Happy is not the right word. Comfortable is the right word.
Yeah, exactly. And again, I mean, I know once again, this is stuff that Terry was saddled with, probably. Maybe the writers had to stay somewhat in the same vein with this particular series, but there are words I just wouldn't ever expect to come out of certain characters' mouths, and there are certain sentences that align themselves too closely to what we would say now. If this is hundreds of years in the future, there's a whole lot of idioms and many other things that would not be represented in the show any longer.
But they said in Star Trek 4 that they don't swear anymore.
Yeah.
In Star Trek 4, they actually stated it, and when we're in this century, and now they're swearing.
This isn't your daddy's Star Trek anymore, though, Ian.
No, it's not.
It's true. We are in a different quote unquote timeline. I can't say it as fancy as you guys. Someday I'll work on my English accent.
No, timeline. What?
I'll hang out with Ian more or something. But no, I like I said, it's weird because unlike Star Wars, which I think is completely dead.
So do I.
I feel
no. This is like a breath.
Actually,
this is like a lasting breath, I think.
Or perhaps this is like being resuscitated. Maybe this is an opportunity for a second life here.
Well, I heard that because of this, they're bringing back 24 with Kiefer Sutherland. So.
Really?
I read an article.
He's doing that rabbit hole show, but
he's coming back to 24. Apparently,
didn't they bring him back to another leading man?
They were basically.
They did. That was good. That was quite good.
I didn't like that one.
Season.
They were encouraged by this. So there you go. I don't know if it's true or not because I read it.
Very exciting. So what? How many warp factors out of 5 would you give episode 6 of Star Trek Picard season 3, Ian?
3.5, I would give it personally, and that's a good score.
That's slightly higher than your last one.
Higher than the last one,
3.
yeah. Okay. Higher than the last one.
So why did you enjoy this one more? What lifts it for you?
I thought it had a good twist at the ending. And
Jean-Luc Picard.
Yeah, exactly.
Jean-Luc Picard.
Exactly. And I do fancy what's her name? LaForge's daughter. So I think with those two, definitely. It deserved that half. That's what I say.
Things are looking up for the Mega Geek.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like, how about you, Matt? What would you score this one out of 5?
2.5.
2.5. Really?
That's a drop. It's a drop.
No, no, I didn't enjoy it as much as the last episode.
You wanted some more meat with your potatoes, didn't you?
This had too many memories.
Remember.
and I was just like, you're trying. It's way too much, and trying way too hard.
Yeah.
So I just, it was nice to see the crew together
valid.
again. But
I disagree with you, but it's perfectly valid. I can see that. I can see why some may find it a bit much. I do see that.
Rightio.
How about you, Culture? We're scoring this one out of 5 warp factors. What would you give this out of 5?
I'm actually wavering between 3 and 3.5. And again, I want to give praise where it's due. I think much like probably Ian's experience, it probably would. My enjoyment has gone up with each episode. So like had I been here the very first time, I think I would have started at the bottom because but I think and again, it's because of everything that came before. So to be fair, for purposes of this show, I'll say 3.5 for the moment. But rather than waver back and forth, and I one last thing, I will predict that I think whether or not Picard is in a human body or not at the end of the show is probably the most interesting prediction. I think you'll end up in a human body. I wanted to add that real quick because I don't think I got a chance to say it or didn't think to say it, but I think that will actually happen. I think it may have already happened. I mean, maybe John Delancey's character Q, but
yeah.
Put him back in it, and he's really not in an android body now. We don't.
Well, they're trying to change everything that's
when he goes to the toilet and stuff.
I don't know.
Anyway, sorry.
So I don't really that story strand. That story strand. I mean, I ground at the time. You know, I did enjoy those seasons, but it hasn't bothered me the way it's bothered other people.
It's not been mentioned.
I can understand what. Yeah, I just literally any nonsense that happened. Like I said about the data stuff. I did understand what they were saying about what happened with Picard, but it's so nonsensical. You just can't relate to it. You can't empathize with it at all. Next episode, so whatever that was, you know, just do some more. Show me some phasers, do some more.
Well, it hasn't become of any use, has it? It's not like he's had to plug himself into the ship or anything like that.
Yeah, and it's not like he's a lot more fitter either, isn't it? He's the same, you know. He's the same old man. Put him in an old body. It's just ridiculous. Well, there you go. Anyway.
Yeah, so let us know what you think. You've heard the scores from us for the bounty for episode 6 there of Star Trek Picard season 3. Let us know what you think of it all in the comments section. Where do you sit with this? Did this really please you, or did you find it a little too much the way that Matt did? I didn't give you my score. I'd give this a full 5 out of 5. I unashamedly adored this thing. It had everything for me. I loved all the callbacks, all the moments, all the touchstones, all the ships, and all the characters. And for me, the drama, the character-based drama, was a level up from everything that we've had so far across the board. And that's saying something in what I view as a high-quality show. Easily the highlight of my TV watching, not just at the moment, but of the whole of 2023 so far. We've got 4 left. Yeah, 4 left in this 10-episode run, and we'll be covering it all here in the Warp Drive on the Spacebook Live. And just so don't miss that. It continues on Thursday for the people on the other side of the Atlantic, with where Culture Casino there is. So that comes on Thursday on Paramount Plus. So that means I've got to spend like 24 hours making sure I don't scroll too much social media and get it spoilt for me, because it doesn't drop until Friday here in Britain on Amazon Prime and other international locations.
I'm so glad I missed the Roe reveal, because a lot of people were putting up things about Roe. And I'm so glad I somehow missed it, because I got it was actually good to get a surprise for once.
Who knows what's coming next in the 7th episode? But as always, I'm counting the days. Let us know what you think in the comments section.